Hello, everyone. Welcome to Cinema
Oi.
Machine. I'm Al, and I'm here with Brandon.
Hello there.
Ryan has some kind of illness. Hope you get better, Ryan. But if not, we're taking auditions for a new host. So I'm just kidding. So,
It's probably another Braves game. It's like an underground
yeah,
World
they
Series game.
Yeah, he's just rewatching it. That's probably what it is. You're probably right.
Basement Blues.
Hey, what's up, Tony?
Welcome.
Yeah.
Chris. Good to see you.
Yes, Chris.
Kind
Now,
of.
Chris was on here Tuesday night. We did a special show with the folks from Comeback Vinyl, Corinna and Sean. That was a very fun show. If you haven't checked that out, please do. We had a good time talking about soundtracks, love for vinyl, and the Comeback Vinyl store, which even if you're not in the Atlanta, Alpharetta, Georgia area, you can still shop from afar online. So they have some really cool stuff. So
Indeed.
it is the shop that we frequent the most. I shop there online quite a bit. So yeah, do check that show out. We had some great guests, and they're always welcome on the show. So we told them they can just hit us up if they want to come on.
They said,
they're not.
thanks,
We see,
but no thanks.
See, they're not here tonight. But no, it was fun. Had a great time with the audience that was watching, and love to see everybody's comments in the comments section over there. But before we get started, Brandon, do you want to tell everybody where they can find us?
Sure. Ooh, put you on the spot there. Yeah, you can find everything CiNEMACHiNE at cinemachinepod.com. You can find links there to pretty much everything. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We also have a Patreon at CineMachinePod. And yeah, give us a like here, a subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that jazz, so you know when we're doing this live thing or when we have new videos coming out. We appreciate any kind of support you can throw our way.
Yeah, and everybody that's watching tonight, thank you so much. Please make sure you join in on the show. That's what this show is all about. Just starting a conversation about movies, and we love to bring up the comments, and we love to see what you guys are watching and maybe suggestions that we should be watching. So,
indeed,
the ever-growing saga of MoviePass continues.
Yes, this just came out of nowhere today.
Yeah, I mean, so Stacy Spikes, the original owner, bought it back as it was bankrupt. Now, the minimum bid. Now, here's the thing. Do you remember at all how much they sold originally?
I don't, but I'm hoping you're about to tell me.
It was like a ton of money, but I can't find it anywhere because everybody's just reporting this story. So I was looking for it, but it was a lot. It was millions of dollars, like millions of dollars, tons of money. The minimum bid for this was $250,000 in the bankrupt, where Stacy Spice got this, with $1 to $10 million worth of the company. So I don't know how that works, but hey, good for you. You got all the money from selling it. Then you took some of that and you bought your company back and promised to get it back up and running with the integrity of your initial idea. So are you excited about MoviePass coming back? Because we both had it.
Yeah.
We're both excited about it for about a week, and then they started doing all their stuff. Everybody out, you even paid a year in advance, didn't you?
Yep, I did.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it became increasingly harder and harder to use. They kept adding more and more stipulations. I am not, well, I'll say this. If they can, I think that it is the perfect name for this type of service. And I know that it was a little, they kind of bit off more than they can chew in terms of the price point, and what they were offering was ridiculous in terms of like how's that even sustainable? It's like Chris wore off his red card in the early days. I don't know if this is the same Chris as Diadamo from Facebook.
I don't think
Could
it
be a
is.
different
Oh, it could
Chris.
be. Yeah, I wore the red off my card in the early days.
Yeah.
In those first 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to use it as much as like you or Ryan, but I did benefit from it for sure, and it did give me it gave me more purpose in terms of okay, I'm paying for this service, just like having a gym membership. Yeah, Chris made the switch. See, there you go. He's on YouTube now. He left Facebook. Good. You don't want to be on Facebook.
Make it look like we have a lot of people named Chris in our audience. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't remember what I was saying. I did. Oh, it gave me like kind of have like having a gym membership. It's like when you're paying for it monthly, it's like I need to use this, and so it made me more intentional about going to the movies. And I think something like that could also get me a little more motivated, because
to get out of the house.
If there is an in-home option, I typically will watch it at home rather than there are exceptions like Dune. I made a point to go see that in theaters, and there are obviously outliers to that, but some movies that I wouldn't, even movies that I wouldn't necessarily like seek out theatrically, like I'll wait for it to come out on home video, doesn't necessarily mean that I need to go see it in theaters. If I had that pass, like I would go, it made me check out things that I probably wouldn't normally have checked out because hey, it's just, it's part of the subscription. Might as well go check it out. So yeah, I know that there's like hesitance with MoviePass because of how shady things were towards the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely that, especially with the same guy involved. I don't know about you.
I remember, similar to you, you're going down your memories of this. I just remember, what was it?
You remember doing there were video recordings every time we'd go see a movie. Yeah. I'm using my MoviePass. Look what I'm purchasing.
Yeah. I would see movies that I had no desire to see in the movie theater. I would just go because I like going to the movie theater, and it was like I had my mom's credit card or something like that. It was like, oh, whatever. You felt like a big spin. You just felt like, oh, I own the movies. Like I'd come in here and watch 5 movies if I want. Or
it really was a good feeling, like going to the Mall of Georgia and seeing something in Regal, like that was like a $16 ticket, and you paid $7 a month for this thing. It's like, how is this even possible? I don't know, but it's like you're getting away from something, and we kind of were.
So I remember that I think it was one of the Mission Impossible movies or something.
Basement Blues.
Oh, you never had the pass, bro? Oh man, that's surprising. Yeah, I just remember them really blackballing that, like blacking that out. Nobody could go see it. You could only go see like the. At one point, I remember there's a theater over in Cumming, Georgia, where they play a lot of like Bollywood movies, and those were available to go see. And then, and I'm not knocking Bollywood, I'm just saying that those were available to go see. And then like 2 family movies from a now defunct studio, I'm sure. And then like 1 other movie. And they started making you take pictures of your ticket.
Yeah.
And it was like
I pulled a Chris towards the end when I think it was for Venom because they wouldn't they weren't allowing it was like they started doing times that you could only see the particular movies. Like you couldn't see a primetime movie, you had to go see it during the day, matinee or whatever. And so I like photoshopped my ticket to say like midday, even though I went and saw it at night. So
they didn't have lawyers looking at it.
Yeah. What's up, Nani?
Hey, Nani.
So,
well, I don't know. I mean, I would love to trust. Hey, maybe, but here's the thing. I think they were kind of like brazen about this whole thing. Like they felt like they had everything, and there were a couple other services like this. This one, like you said, had the best name. It was like a perfect mix for if this kind of thing was going to work.
Yeah.
Oh, so Tony said didn't. They also start limiting certain studios. I'm not sure about studios. Maybe they did. I think
They definitely started
studios
limiting
started
like
limiting them using MoviePass on their movies.
yeah.
I don't think MoviePass started limiting studios, maybe. And maybe you're saying the same thing, but
Well,
I'm
I
just
think yeah, I
clarifying.
mean, I think like some of your like tentpole movies they like blocked. Like I remember the first one that they did was Mission Impossible Fallout. Like that one wasn't available at opening weekend for Movie Pass, and that's when it kind of started going downhill. I remember
Yeah.
it well. I was in San Francisco back then
I remember San Francisco.
with Ryan,
Uh,
actually.
um, but I don't know. I just I hope it's a good thing. I really do because, like I said, I like going to the theater, and most of the movies that I like to see, this is the thing I've never understood about the movie theater experience. Okay,
People.
well, people ruin everything, but I mean, the thing is that why don't they have a tier level of how much movies cost? Like if I go to see a big like band in concert, it's going to cost me more than it is to go see an indie band in concert, you know? So why don't they tier the ticket prices like that? They'll get more people in the theater for the independent movies, for the and maybe not even just the dramas and stuff like that. What was the movie that just came out with Ben Affleck and Adam
The Last
Driver?
Duel.
Yeah, Last Duel. Like that was supposed to be a big to do movie, but maybe you say, okay, this movie's not making that much money. Instead of just sitting on it and not making your money, like I don't know if the studio demands the ticket price or what, but just go ahead and knock that down to a mid tier, and then like French Dispatch could have knocked that down to a mid to a low tier. And I'm not even talking about low. I'm just saying like a matinee price for your low tier all day long, all day, all night. Um, I paid matinee to go see French Dispatch. I would, after seeing it, I would gladly pay regular price, but it's just I just happened to catch it on midday, so it worked out. So, but I'm just saying, I just never understood why they never relooked at the model and addressed some of these issues in a different way, because they're so hell bent on keeping everything the way it used to be, and it kind of drives me crazy.
Yeah.
And I know that they are smarter than I am, make a lot more money than I do, whatever the case is. But it just drives me up a freaking wall that they don't even do that.
Well, I think this was years ago. I don't. I'm thinking like 10 years ago at this point. But and Steven Spielberg, maybe George Lucas as well, did like an op-ed somewhere, and they were talking about, or maybe it's just an interview, but they were talking about the future of cinema and kind of it moving to a system, kind of like you were talking about, where it's like a tiered thing, where you'll have like it's more like a Broadway type experience where you've got a premium, like the big, like huge blockbuster event of the year is like this, like $20-$30 ticket price, like you would pay for a sports game or a concert, like you're saying, or whatever it is. And then the rest of them were staggered because of how especially now the market is so saturated and,
Yeah.
um, I mean, you hear creatives all the time talking about how hard it is um, to get financing for these smaller movies as far
Mhm.
as wanting theatrical runs for them because they just, people don't show up to see them. So I don't know.
Very, 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 very hopeful. I don't know how if anybody else has hope or if they're just going to let it fly, but I am very hopeful um, to see what they're going to do with this. But um, I don't know. I really think that there's more and more, and we've talked about this quite a bit on this show, but there's more and more people that continue to reimagine models out there, like the more interactive, gamify things, such like that. Netflix is putting games on their app that we heard this week, and so it's kind of funny to me that um, I don't want them to start gamifying the movies. I have a feeling that's the way that Netflix is going to go. Uh, like interact with the movie. They already do the choose your own adventure kind of thing with a few things. But I've always thought that you're going to be able to watch a movie one day and click on the lamp and buy the lamp automatically, or click on the shirt that the person's wearing and buy the shirt automatically, and go that route. So,
Yeah.
anyway, um, so yeah. Anyway, so we have a story here. Now, I know that you're a fan of some Ridley Scott movies, Brandon.
Most all of them that I've seen. Most.
Yeah. I would say his latter stuff is not even, some of it's not even worth watching. But Ridley Scott says, hey, it would be stupid of me not to direct Gladiator II. Thumb up or thumb down there, as we would say.
Joaquin gives a thumb up.
I
Well, he's
disagree
been talking
here.
about doing this. Well, he's saying because it's been they've kind of announced that it's happening, and I think he's implying that he would do it over somebody else doing it if it's going to be done. I'm not saying, I don't think he's saying I have to do this movie because
Right.
whatever.
I don't think he's demanding that I think he's just putting it out there. He may be even campaigning for himself at this point. I don't see there needing to be another Gladiator movie, personally. I think it was.
Tony agrees with you.
There we go. I think it's one of those things, lightning in a bottle. You're not going to catch that twice. Don't really know how you expand that story. I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but it had a great ending. And the ending is really what makes that movie so heavy, So I don't know. Do you even feel like they need another Gladiator movie?
Depends on what the take is. I mean, I don't know what the story actually would be. But I'm never one to be like, no, they should never do, like, it's always a wait and see typically for me. Like, and I have hesitations, sure, especially with a project like this, probably the same ones that you do, but I'm not going to just go ahead and I'm not going to write it off because I think on paper, it sounds like a bad idea. Who knows? It could be a good idea. I've been surprised. More often than not, I'm not, but still like to give it a fair shake. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I would honestly rather see him do some. Well, I don't know. I mean, I like his sword and sandals stuff that he does. Like, I just recently went and watched. I'd had it on the shelf forever. I watched the ultimate cut or director's cut of Kingdom of Heaven, and I thought it was great. And that movie kind of got panned pretty hard when it came out. The director's cut, at least, or the theatrical cut. And I'd always heard that ultimate cut or whatever it's called was like superior and actually really good. And it was really good. And I love Gladiator. I never saw Robin Hood. But I do like him kind of working in that kind of story. So it could be because he's done a lot. I mean, you think about the types of movies that he does, he kind of bounces around. He's actually,
he's versatile.
He's very prolific, and he's also, definitely versatile. But I mean, he kind of falls lately, maybe not as meh on my end as like Clint Eastwood's directorial stuff has been, but he kind of is similar. Like, not everything is a home run, but he's still, putting out. He's still, pretty good, even when it's not great. To me.
Well, I know a lot of people make an issue out of his age. I don't really care how old he is. If you can, heck, I mean, I don't know about the last one or two, but I still appreciate Clint Eastwood, and he's older, if I'm not mistaken, than old
Yeah,
Ridley.
Eastwood's
So
in his 90s, and Ridley's 83. I'll look up Eastwood.
yeah, I mean, Eastwood doesn't look a day over 89, so it's amazing. He's
91.
Ridley or
Eastwood is 91. Ridley's 83.
Okay. So for some odd reason,
That's old though. Like that's impressive for them to still be doing this. Both of them. I mean, especially Eastwood. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, Tarantino's about to retire in his 50s. So
yeah.
he's like, I'm done.
Nani also is not a fan of Gladiator. Brady Hunter, welcome back.
I don't think it will be either. Yeah, welcome back. I don't think it'll be accepted either. I don't know if everybody else has the same idea of the original Gladiator, but I just feel like that ending is so I don't know, it's just so heartbreaking, but it jails that movie all the way around for me. So I don't want to say too much. The Mule, I saw that.
I never saw it. I wanted to see it, but
I didn't think it was one of Eastwood's best. It really didn't have any kind of like. It was just flat the whole movie. No, there's no real arc. Like there's story arcs, but there's no like real. And it never really rises. It just kind of stays the same tone the whole movie, and there's really no stakes. There, you feel kind of like, oh, okay, he's a drug runner, but at the same time, yeah. Okay, so go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say I've kind of felt like Eastwood is at his best when he's not directing himself as of late.
Maybe
I think and maybe that's just because I really didn't like Gran Torino and I thought it was like a Lifetime movie.
The movie's bad, but it's hilarious to watch. I mean, it's so bad. Like everybody around him is terrible, and I think you might have a point because I think that he focuses so much on his acting that he can't direct anybody else now. Because when you get older, multitasking is a little harder. Although he's super healthy for his age, and I'm not making a joke about that, but I'm just saying that maybe that's the thing. He can't focus on too many things now, so maybe he does need to do one or the other. I have no interest in seeing Cry Macho. None, zero.
It didn't look too compelling, even free on HBO Max. I was like,
it looked like
didn't look
like the same Gran Torino kind of like everything was just going to be bad acting wise, and the only thing he holds Gran Torino up is just
Biff Tanner.
Well, the only thing that holds that movie up is just the jaw-dropping lines in that movie. You're just like, what? It's just like, whoa. So it grabs your attention pretty hard. So
I did enjoy Richard Jewell though. That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like
that was a good movie.
Like there's like it kind of ebbs and flows with him. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, both of them are in a similar vein. I feel like really at this point, Ridley Scott, for me, has the edge. I still think he's doing a lot of new things and still kind of pushing the envelope at 83. Mm-hmm. And who knows what he would do with a Gladiator II. I mean, I imagine it's going to be a whole new story, different set of characters, obviously. So we'll see. I need to go back and watch Gladiator. I bought it.
You got the 4K
and haven't revisited. And
I haven't watched it in a few years. Soundtrack's fantastic though. You talk about a good soundtrack, and we actually got to see a little bit of that when we saw Ohans in concert. That was great.
Brady's thinking Cry Macho might be his last. I don't know. I don't know what he's got on his plate. I think he's just going to keep doing it until he can't fit. Like literally cannot. He will not be alive to
Like
direct
he's like
anymore.
going in the ground.
Yeah.
Action.
He'll
Yeah.
ride off in the sunset, as they say.
Well,
Directing.
they say if you keep yourself busy,
That's the
keep your
thing. Like,
mind
yeah,
alive.
if you stop, you'll die. So that's probably.
So I had the opportunity a long time ago, speaking of the San Francisco area, out in Carmel, to go to his restaurant. If anybody ever gets a chance to go there, I mean the food was okay. I mean the food was fine. There's nothing against food, but it's just the place itself. It's like an old Western type restaurant, and it's not like kitschy to where people are walking around in spurs like, "Hey there, Buckaroo," and stuff. It's just really tiny place. You have to kind of duck to get in there because it's small, like places were back in those days. And right next to it, he had a jazz radio station because he used to be the mayor out there. Um, so anyway, it's and if you've ever seen a lot of his movies are up there, like the Route to Big Sur and such. I think they had a rock slide that kind of killed a lot of that, but I drove that just because I think it was Play Misty for me, or I can't remember. Anyway, it's really cool if you're a fan of Clint Eastwood. I highly suggest going out there. I don't know if it's still open. I don't know if COVID killed that or what, but the restaurant, but it was cool. So check before you go, of course. All right. So one of our favorite studios, A24, gonna do something a little unheard of by them. Now, they've put out some pretty gritty movies over the years. We've learned to appreciate, I would say, the majority of things in my camp, anyway, that they put out. They take a lot of chances, and yet again, they are taking another chance. They're going to release their very first family film, The Legend of Ochi. This is Willem Dafoe and Film Wolfhard are going to star, and this is quite the departure for them. So
Yeah.
I trust them. I trust them to do this. How about yourself?
Yeah. I mean, as far as studios that have, good track records in terms of financing and putting out, top tier content, I think A24 has kind of become one of the more, notable ones. I don't know a ton about the story besides what you just said as far as what the angle is. I'm wondering, I was trying to find out. So it's an animation. I know this is concept art, but I wasn't sure if
Yeah.
it was.
Well, the Russo brothers are executive producers on here
Gotcha.
as well.
One thing that I will say that caught my eye was that he said, or the article says that it's a throwback to old school pre Lord of the Rings Peter Jackson picks, which
Like Rankin
I
and
guess would be
Bass.
like, I get. Well, I'm wondering if they're talking about like Dead Alive or, which means it would be kind of more horror focused, but maybe in a like an emblem type, family horror type
Right.
situation. Kind of like Shazam it was like family friendly, but had its like terrifying moments with the 7 deadly sins. So I don't know. Could be cool. I don't know who's on board as far as the creatives involved. Besides the Saxon was the guy that was named, and he was apparently apparently behind. What did it say?
Pictura.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. So it's his animation. Yeah, his animation background. I don't know much about him. He's in the band Dirty Projectors. Do you know that band?
Yeah. Okay. I didn't
So
realize he was in that band.
seems like
Yep.
they've done stuff for Adult Swim, but yeah, we'll see. I mean, I feel like Willem Dafoe is that one of those names, and Finn Wolfhard is well, Willem Dafoe is like the opposite of Samuel L. Jackson. He appears in everything, but he doesn't tend to phone things in like Samuel L. Jackson can sometimes. Like,
Right.
I think he always shows up. And then, Finn Wolfhard is kind of he's that new hotness. He's like right behind Timothée Chalamet.
They're gonna be brothers or cousins in something soon enough.
Yeah. Yeah, for a second I was thinking that he was the younger version of Timothée Chalamet in Beautiful Boy, but it wasn't. It was the kid from Shazam that played Freddy, the kid that was in It. I'm talking about not Asher Angel, the other one. Anyway, similar look. There's a lot of kids that are coming up that have that kind of shoulder length, perfect hair. I'm not jealous.
I was about to say. You said that so like I hate them.
It's funny. I've told this story. I don't know, but I was having lunch a couple years ago at my daughter's school, and one of the coach from the college, local college, came in to have lunch with his kid, and he's got like shoulder length hair, and he walks in, and Luna goes, "Dad, he's got hair. You want that?
You want that?" Nothing like a good ribbing from your daughter. So
Yeah.
Well, I'll stick around. I'll trust A24 to put this out and hope for the best. Like I said, Timothée Chalamet is a good actor. Finn Wolfhard, fine, and I've seen him in Stranger Things and maybe one. I don't know if I've seen him in anything else. But he is a bit too much everywhere. It's like, all right. Yeah. A24 we trust. That's right, 90G. Yeah. All right. So the movie that I'm super excited for is Licorice Pizza.
Why is that?
PTA, Paul Thomas Anderson. I don't think I've disliked a movie of his. I can't think of one. And even the one that
he's been making the rounds lately and saying some things that would probably make you upset, like loving Marvel movies, like really being a fan of the latest Venom. He's like, I think he's big into which surprised me. He's like big into the MCU story.
I mean, as long as he still makes things like Licorice Pizza, I'm fine. I don't care what he likes outside of that. But this is getting great reviews. So, I mean, that's one of the Haim sisters, which I also like that band, so that helps. So these are debut performances, and people are raving about their performances from the two lead actors, and it's just, I don't know. That's the job of a director, to get great performances out of people, and he tends to do that in every movie. He even got a good performance out of Tom Cruise, and I mean, if you haven't seen Magnolia, movie's fantastic. But to be honest, Brady, this is, so for you guys that like the Marvel and the DC and stuff like that, this is, I wouldn't say like, I'm not like, oh, like the thumbnail doesn't need to be this or anything. I don't watch movies like that, but yeah, I this is my type of movie, to where it's just a good heartfelt story, drama, and Tony's in there. So from Basement Blues, I don't know. I'm excited, man, for a good story. French Dispatch was a good movie. I'm going into this thinking this is going to be my top movie of the year, but I've been proven wrong before. But never by Paul Thomas Anderson. I can't say that he's He's my favorite. Every time he puts out a movie, it's my favorite movie of the year. But I can say that I always have a high appreciation for it.
His
So
movies are always kind of like very intentional, masterfully done, usually slice of life, or a lot of times like that. And not necessarily movies that I often return to, but really do have a massive appreciation for. Um, so yeah, I'm excited for this too. And I think it just feels very lived in, like just by the trailer. It just
yeah,
feels like, like like you're just kind of, a fly on the wall amongst these kids.
another thing I like about his movies is they are for at least the last
Hey, you
quite
got
a
a
few.
buddy here. Brady, you might have pulled, I don't know if you pulled that up.
Oh man, Brady, we'll have to start our own club. Um, so the thing about his movies I love is Johnny Greenwood does the scores for at least the last handful of movies anyway, and the scores are so perfectly fitting for each movie, and they're so, and if you just separate them from the, like if you listen to them at home without the movie, they are such a soundscape that is so weird, but I like that kind of stuff. It's just so far off the beaten path. And of course, Johnny Greenwood, um, it has done the score for this movie, but he also has a soundtrack of Taj Mahal, Blood, Sweat, and Tears, Gordon Lightfoot, you see Donovan, Congregation, Clarence Carter, Sills and Crofts, David Bowie, The Doors, Paul McCartney, Chuck Berry, Sonny and Cher, Chico Hamilton, Bing Crosby, and the Andrews Sisters, which I love the Andrews Sisters. Bing Crosby's great, but the Andrews Sisters are fun. Nina Simone is pretty awesome, and Chris Norman. So um, that seems like a pretty darn good lineup for a soundtrack as well. So it's
Yeah, I
already for
think
sale over at their old
Basement
Amazon.
Blues was commenting on that earlier. Like,
Oh, sorry, I was
yeah.
busy
No, I
reading
was just saying he was kind of in
stuff.
agreement that the soundtrack was looking good. What he'd seen so far.
Yeah, so it's already available on vinyl. Or you can order it on vinyl over at the old Amazon. And as you'll see later, I've been doing some purchasing lately, so it might not be on my list just yet. So maybe right after the movie, I might run out and get it, but um, we shall see. We shall see. So um, I'm gonna kind of hint at something later on in the show. We talk about what we've been watching lately, and we won't talk about it right now. But I did see Last Night in Soho. And if you're wanting to see that, not wanting to really go to the theater to see it, maybe it's not available for you to go to the theater to see it. It's going to be on demand November 19th. So, uh, is this something that you would see in the theater, Brent? Are you looking forward to
Yeah, I
that?
do. I do want to see this in the theater. That's the goal with this one. There, like I said, there are certain types of movies and certain directors that I kind of prefer to see theatrically, and Edgar Wright's definitely one of them. Um,
This is
I don't know
a great
about. I'll
departure.
get a. Yeah, I mean that's what I hear. Um, that's but the next story that we're going to talk about is very similar in terms of what I feel like is going to be kind of the model going forward. And
Yeah.
this movie didn't make hardly any money in the box office, and so it seems like they're like, all right,
Well,
put it out on VOD. We got to kind of try and make up
this
for.
this kind of goes to my argument a while ago. Have a tier system. Get more people in the theater to buy your popcorn and your candy and your and all that stuff. But have a tier system to where if people want to go on a date, me and two other people saw this on one Tuesday night. That's awesome. I just found out the theater nearest me, they have a Tuesday night deal for going to see movies, so I'll probably be hitting that up here in the near future and
Yeah,
those discounts. But yeah, I mean, it's just if this was on a tier system, more people have been in the theater. Now, people were in the theater when I saw it. Maybe five other people. Uh, and here's a quick aside from all of this. Why can't they?
Reaction Reviews wants better snacks. He'll come
I
back.
agree. I agree. Stale. stale goobers, and I mean I love goobers. Don't get me wrong, but they're kind of stale at the movie theater nowadays. Um,
That'll
I
be a
don't
good
like when
flip
people
to it.
have the food that smells so bad, like cooked foods in the movie theater. It kind of I have a very sensitive nose, but anyway, the
My
movie
dad
theater
always got the
next.
loudest candy possible when we went to the
Yeah, I
theater. Like Whoppers,
know. Well, that's
bunch
the
of
thing I don't
crunch.
understand is like it's like, hey, it's like this social experiment. Whoever put this idea of eating popcorn in a movie theater while when you're supposed to be quiet, and it's one of the loudest foods ever, and human beings do not know how to eat it without it sounding like they're chewing on shrapnel, and it drives me crazy. So, um, these movies have very quiet parts, especially the movies that I like to frequent, are very quiet in tone for the most part. And I'm sitting there watching this movie, and has a lot of like kind of like parts you're supposed to really get into, but you can't because you have Eternals like boom out like it's banging on the walls, and you can hear the other movie theaters. Why is that still a thing? Like we have all this technology of how to control sound. Why is that still a thing to where I can still hear the other I could hear two other movies going at the same time and in this
Well,
theater,
a lot
and
of
I
it
paid a
has to
premium
do with
price.
it's a lot harder to manage LFE, low frequency, just because it just travels further. And
Well, I could hear dialogue. I could hear dialogue in I don't know which movie it was, but I could hear two different movies, and you could tell they weren't they were just they just didn't go together. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, oh, so it just made no sense for the sounds that I was hearing to go together. So it sounded like it was two different movies. It's just one of those things that just get that together. Just come on. If you want people to continue to pay the premium price to come to the theater, like figure something out. Like maybe when you're building a theater, which I don't know if they'll build many more in the future, but um, wow, AMC
that's a
has
bad idea.
Brussels sprouts. Yeah,
Brussels sprouts are stout, smell
yeah,
wise.
they it smells like you're eating a fart. Yeah, it's
Yeah, you know me. I'm not a fan of like food, especially food in theaters. I don't like
yeah,
any of the dine-in theater experiences personally, but
yeah. I
yeah,
don't like to hear people eating. That is my biggest pet peeve. But that's way above clapping at a movie, like way above, like 6 jillion times higher. But
Tony
uh
has a theater where he can hear people talking in the lobby. That's not good. You
um
should just not go there.
yeah, you should. I
There's
have
your here at
I have
Reaction Reviews. He's jumping on your merch idea. I've been to a few movies that have had merch for the movie.
Yeah, I remember, um I can't remember what movie it was, but they had free posters and stuff. And I was going to see another movie. It was a couple years ago. And I grabbed the little, it's the miniature posters that they were giving out for free. Um and I grabbed posters. Oh, I think it was Star Wars or something like that. And I grabbed posters for my nephew for that. But I mean, when I was a kid, my grandfather took me to see Snow White and Jungle Book in the theater. They put them back in theaters. You know how they take them out of the vault to put on video now, like home video, and I
Yeah,
don't know if they'll do that anymore. Um, well, they used to put them in theaters like that, and we had a single movie theater. Uh, it was one of the many theaters in my hometown, but this was my favorite because it had kind of like the idea of the Chinese theater on. Well, it's not called the Chinese theater anymore. It's like the TCL theater or whatever now. Anyway, they had like the bigger screen, and you went in, and it was a vast amount of seats. My grandfather took us there, and they had like, I don't know if it was the local radio station or what, but they had all these like little like gift bags and stuff for Snow White. They had little knickknacks of the seven dwarves and stuff like that. And I remember I used to have those characters. They were erasers I could put on the end of my pencil. Um, and they just gave you a bunch of stuff because they made it into an event. You know what I mean? And they did the same thing for Jungle Book. And as a kid, I love those movies, two of my favorite Disney movies. I liked them before I saw them in the theater, but I liked them even more. And it made me want to go because it was an experience. It wasn't just, I'm going to the theater, And it was with my grandfather. It was 3 kids and my grandfather. I mean, he wasn't a mean person, but he probably wasn't super patient. Like, it probably wasn't like, okay, kids, let's go. It wasn't like a Leave It to Beaver kind of episode. So, um, but I mean, we had a blast. And they would fashion the popcorn bags and all that stuff because they made it into an event. And of course, it was the 80s, so it was a different time. But um, I think I don't know. I really think that people could, and I'm continuing my argument from earlier. I just think they need to look at movie theaters completely differently than they do now, instead of saying, okay, let's just get as much money. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I'm with Al. Find a way. They have posters, but you have to hold on for the whole. I agree. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. They'll figure it out. They'll
I'll
have
tell you
to.
this: when Ryan and I went to go see The Green Knight, we went vinyl shopping beforehand, and we had some vinyl. We had to and I had also bought Ryan a vinyl for his birthday, so we both had to just hang on to him because we didn't want to leave him in the theater. So it's awkward. So and you don't want to leave him in the heat of Atlanta. So
Right.
sure. Well, okay. Talking about this coming to VOD, they're starting to release things to home video. Um, quicker and quicker. I mean, it seems like it doesn't even get out of the theater really. So French Dispatch and The Last Duel, as we spoke about earlier, are already headed to home video. Now, I'm gonna wait for Criterion to announce their French Dispatch because I know they're gonna do it. Um, so I don't foresee myself buying this. However, I have purchased Wes Anderson movies in multiple releases before. So, are you gonna check out The Last Duel when it comes to
Yeah.
home video?
Yeah. I, I've heard, I've actually heard great things about The Last Duel and great things about Gucci, which are both really Scott. Um, so it seems like he maybe financially may not be having a great year in terms of box office, but review wise, pretty good so far. But yeah, Last Duel is one that I definitely want to see. So I'll probably even just blind buy it um, when it comes out. French Dispatch, I also want to see. Um,
It's worth seeing. It's great. I loved it. Now let's get deeper into the conversation, though. We noticed this during COVID, and we thought maybe this is a phase or whatever. Halloween Kills has a director's cut coming out on VOD a month before Blu-ray. Now that's interesting to me.
that's pretty commonplace as far as the month
Yeah.
VOD. Well, the month digital purchase has been kind of common practice for a lot of movies. Um, Anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks for a like an actual digital copy, not a VOD like on demand, like one time purchase, 24-hour, 48-hour, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But the month thing for digital to Blu-ray is kind of that's not as unusual.
So I'm fine with movies. I think it was Steven Soderbergh, that really tested this idea. It was years ago.
Get a question for Alan. I will definitely ask him. I don't think he forced him. His son's been pretty gung ho about Suicide Squad, even though he hasn't been allowed to watch the movie
Who's
because
the
it's rated R.
Peacemaker?
It's it's John Cena's character. He dressed up as him
Oh,
for Halloween.
oh.
Um, yeah, Alan's wife Mandy makes costumes, and she made him one for Halloween, and they all went as characters from Suicide Squad. Anyway, yeah, we'll ask him. We'll find out, but pretty sure it was his
Um,
decision.
yeah, I think that this I'm good with everything coming home video, but Soderbergh had that whole model of he tested it out. I don't remember what movie it was, but he was like, let's see if it works the VOD as the same day as the um, theater release, you know? So he tried it out. I think it was okay. I just don't think it was one of his better movies. I'm sorry, it escapes me, but which movie it was. But that was the first real test of that. And then COVID, of course, tested that. I honestly believe that in this day and age, we know, unfortunately, that they're going to get rid of physical media eventually. Maybe
I don't know.
they'll water it
Considering
down.
considering how vinyl is doing, I think it's going to turn into a boutique thing.
And I'm fine with that. I'm more than
just going to
fine
get
with
more
that.
expensive, but I think it'll still be around.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with it becoming boutique. So anyway, I don't think it would hurt to
Was
actually.
the movie Unsane, Brady's the movie that you're trying to think of?
It could have been. I think it was even before that, but I can't remember. Honestly, I'm sorry. If anybody, it might have been Unsane. It very well could have been. But anyway, I think they could even release the movies in store to purchase the same day it's in theater and on VOD. And I think that they'll compete with themselves, but at the same time, pick your poison, give us your money however you feel free to give us your money. You know, that's one thing I see, especially with like movies that I like. Now,
I think the only
Licorice
way
Pizza I want to see in theaters.
I think there's just certain movies that you can't justify budget to do things like that. Like they're banking on, like those big blockbuster tentpole movies bank on that box office, pull to be able to, I guess warrant spending the money. So
Yeah, and I think eventually, they're going to wear out their welcome with doing the same ideas over and over and over, and then rehashing, and then kind of bringing up old properties and not doing them to any justice. Like they're not really giving them any justice in the way that they're remaking some of these things. And instead of pouring in good stuff, they pour in politics or whatever that upsets the crowd. So I think, again, I'm going to keep beating this drum because I think I'm right. They need to reimagine the way people pay for movies, consume movies, and I don't think that we've seen the final. I don't think we've seen the piece that has gotten the most money yet. People are, people love stories. Stories are from the beginning of time. You had cave drawings and so on and so forth. So I believe that people want stories. Everybody wants different kinds of stories. I just believe how we consume them nowadays should be a pick your poison. Like I said, I want to go see Licorice Pizza in the theater. Like if I went to go see French Dispatch, I would have gone to see that in the theater. That's just me. And I would have gone straight over to Best Buy, Barnes and Noble, wherever, and purchased it right after if it were available. That's what I would have done personally. And I would have bought the vinyl, but it's not, due to supply chain issues and the Adele putting out her album coming up. She's pushing all the vinyl pressing plants down. So yeah, so that's pushed back to January 7th. So anyway, I think that nobody's going to listen to me because I don't make them $1 billion.
I think it's also, as much as we always kind of harp on, we love the theatrical experience. I think on a person by, and I feel like there's an inclination to be like, yes, you have to preserve that experience, and to a certain extent, I agree. I also feel like, just speaking from personal experience, I want to get to the theater more than I do. It's just a time thing, and I prefer that experience over the latter. But I think a lot of people, when given the option, if they had the option, day and date, I mean, and we have seen how that's played out. A lot of people just choose to watch it at home. If they can watch it at home, they don't really care as much about seeing it in a theater.
Yeah, you
So
don't have
it's
the
just,
luxury of living 10 minutes away from a theater as I do. I mean, I'm not.
well,
That's
there's
not a
that. I
knock.
mean, and it's also just like family
You have
and
family and stuff.
time, and
I
it's just
have
busy.
nobody. Um, but Tony was saying
Oh
that he has a
God!
I have nobody. No, I don't even have anybody that would go see the movies I want to see in the theater. So,
Well,
but
hit
no,
up Brady. Seems like Brady's in your
yeah,
lane. So
Brady, Tony. I'm
if Nani
getting.
Nani lived closer, she could. She's like the best of both worlds. She likes the Cape stuff, and she likes the indie stuff. She just happens to be in Texas. It's unfortunate.
Well, guess we have to move the show out to Texas. Um, but Tony
Everybody else
has.
is moving to Texas.
Why not? Right? It's not overpopulated. Well, one sector of Texas anyway. Tony said he has a similar issue to where he has to travel to a theater. You know, and so but he loves to go to the theater. So I'm sure that everybody has that issue. I'm sure getting out nowadays is tougher than it was 2 years ago. You know, that's another knock against MoviePass. Will people actually go to the theater if they have MoviePass? Um, who knows? The theaters might be clamoring for MoviePass at this point, because it might be the thing that gets people back in the theater. So anyway,
Yeah.
outside of the theater, Brandon,
Mm.
more of a home experience is Stranger Things 4. We'll get into that. We'll talk about our trailers in a second because they've just released a new one. But Stranger Things 4 has a release of summer of 2022, which is 3 years after season 3.
Hmm.
I'm I'm excited, but at the same time, it's not something I'm like, come on already. It's just one of those things. Once it gets here, I'll be okay with it and I'll enjoy it. But um,
Hmm.
I've enjoyed the other seasons. Season 3 was fun because of the 80s mall and all that stuff. And then my actually being able to see the set itself, that was fun. We watched the majority of it at your house, you, myself, and Melissa. So
Yeah.
that was fun. I actually went out and bought a keyboard to write some 80s music after that's like not one song written. So anyway, I know you're excited about this. Do
Yeah.
you think this is too far of a too long of a wait? Do you think people's excitement will wane because so many things have come out like Squid Game, which we'll talk about getting a season 2 here in a minute?
Mhm.
Um, do you think this is too long of a wait?
I don't know. I feel like, I mean, 3 years is not too terribly long. I think between season 2 and 3, it was like a 2 year bump. So it's not terrible. I mean, Stranger Things is Netflix's pride and joy, in my opinion. It's like their
That's their
flagship show
it's their bread and butter at
in
this
terms
point.
of pop cultural like relevance. It is
Mm.
that's it. Um,
Well,
but
stick
yeah,
to it, like for people to actually come back. Now, as we'll talk about here in a minute, you know, the season 2 of the what was it? The Lion what was that guy's Tiger
Tiger
King. I
King.
was about to say the Lion King. So anyway, the Tiger King guy, the second season of that. I don't know if a lot of people will tune in. I think that like you were saying, it was a perfect storm for that
Mhm.
Jerry Springer kind of thing. So everybody's just kind of stuck at home. But this continues to bring people back. They're actually drawn to it. This reminds me of when The Sopranos broke up the last season, and then they took a break there in the middle, and I think the writer's strike happened in the middle of all that, and it really forced their hand to kind of postpone. And plus, the actors were like, "We need a break from it." So
Yeah.
but the thing you got going against you here is you got kids that are growing up at a at a crazy rate. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, you kind of can do the story kind of like they did the Potter stuff. You can tell it at the age that they're at. It's not like they have to be kids, kids like they were in the first.
Right. I mean, I'm just
season.
saying they're still in school. I'm an
Yeah,
old man, so
but
they're kids to
they're
me.
still in school.
Yeah.
So, um, it's not a situation like on the others, like in the Cape world where you got Shazam and it's going to be 4 or 5 years down the road when the sequel comes out, and you're still telling a story about kids that turn into superheroes. Now you've actually got one of those kids that's playing the version of the superhero because she's a lot older and looks like there's no reason for her to be played by a different, woman, because she's already grown up pretty much, and so they just let her play the adult version. So, um, yeah. So, but as far as like any kind of feeling of it being too little, too late, or worried about that, I don't think so. I think this brand is strong enough to not be hurt by that. It's not like it's not in that road of like it's like 10 years down the road and it's like, yeah, you should have done this 10 years ago, or because sometimes it can kind of like the revival type thing is also sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't, like we've talked about Coming to America and Dumb and Dumber or Dumb and Dumber 2, these movies that kind of get made way too late than they should have. Anchorman 2, like a lot of these movies that just like, all right, well, people were excited for a sequel the year after it came out, but that interest has kind of waned at this point. But I don't think this is the case.
So Tony said, I'm looking forward to the release. I think 3 years is a long time, but this is a show people will come back to with no
It's
issue.
also a 3-year period where it's like we had such a weird last year and a half.
Yeah.
That like I think a lot of people are going to be pretty stoked to have this back
Some
in their
kind
lives.
of normalcy of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's really strange for me because, like I said, these kids are growing up. I don't know how old Millie Bobby Brown and Finn Wolfhard. I don't know how old these kids are. I'm guessing they're probably 18, 19, 20 at this point. I don't know.
17 for Millie Bobby Brown.
And see, that makes me kind of feel like a lot of people are treating her kind of like they did. And this is something I don't like. A lot of people are treating her like they did the Olsen twins, where they kind of fetishize them.
They're counting down the days when she turns 18.
Yeah, and it's really sickening. It's like she's a child in my eye. Even if she were 21 right now, but like she's a child. I saw her first as a child. Like that's just strange to me. But I don't know. I'm not here to be the arbiter of I guess rules in that world. I don't want to get political, but I'm just saying it's just strange and icky.
Well,
Me.
looking back on that Olsen twins thing, it is like, man, I can't. That was actually a thing. It's kind of weird.
That is very strange, and especially in the climate that we're in today. We're not going to get into that, but I'm just saying. I mean, that is just so strange. And talking about that, um, Zoe Kravitz is now asking that people don't fetishize the Catwoman. So it's kind of backwards. It's like, hang on, what? So it's just
Don't look at me.
Yeah. Oh, don't look at me in the skin tight thing and that I worked out to fit into. And yeah. So and one of the most fetishized characters of all time. So anyway, we were talking about this, and there is a second season of Squid Game confirmed by the series creator. I still have not seen Squid Game. It's just I don't know that I will. It's just not something that I'm really not into episodic things right now. Being the season that it's in, that we're in, so I know you're probably amped up for this.
Yeah, I mean, I came into it a little late,
Yeah.
but I really enjoyed it, and I am considering doing a rewatch and watching it with Melissa because I wasn't sure at the jump if it was something that she would be into, but I think she would enjoy it. It's kind of a no-brainer that this is getting a season 2. I'm glad it is.
Makes money. It's gonna they're gonna make another one.
Yeah. Well, they definitely leave it open for that at the end of it. So
so there was a 3 to 4 years in between season 2 and season 3 of True Detective.
yeah.
And you had all new
That's a
characters.
little different in terms of it. Those are kind of anthology series. They don't really connect necessarily
Yeah.
to each other. I mean, I think. Well, I didn't see season 3. I think there was and ended up being a little bit of connective tissue there, from what I remember people saying. But that's a case where, like, that's a good example of kind of the opposite being bad for that series, where season 1 was so great, they fast tracked season 2 and it was awful. And that 2 to 3 year gap, or whatever it is, 3 to 4 year gap, seemingly helped them, because I heard that season 3 was a lot better, but never got around to checking it out. But I love season 1.
Right.
But yeah, Squid Game season 2, again, no brainer.
Yeah, Tony's excited
I'm glad it's happening.
about that. All right. So speaking of sequels, Dune 2 is going to start filming in July of 2022. Lots of twos in that sentence. Part 2 in 22.
It's good timing, because I just finished watching Dune Part 1.2 with Melissa, because it took us a couple of nights to get through it. But yeah, it ended and she was like, "What?" I was like, "It's part 1." It's like, I didn't know it was part 1. I was like, "It said at the beginning." Yeah, sometimes I don't pay attention. I was like, "Yeah, I guess so."
Yeah. Yeah, I know we're all amped up about part 2 of Dune. All right, so let's get into our trailers here. Stranger Things 4, as we said. Did you watch this? Did you stay away from it?
I watched it.
Okay. I watched it. It wasn't much of anything. It was a good teaser. Just enough to whet your
Apparently,
appetite.
Stranger Things Day was Saturday, I believe.
I didn't know that was a thing until you guys said that.
Yeah. Everybody gets a day. So
my people don't. We get Kick a Ginger Day
well,
and Kiss a Ginger Day. So either we're, stop fetishizing my people.
I don't know if anybody does that.
I'm pretty sure it's the female version of Reddit that they fetishize. So yeah, Kick a Ginger Day is a real thing, by the way. So let's put that one in the history books.
Well,
yeah. So Stranger Things, I watched this. Like I said, it whets your appetite, gets you it's just enough to like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I want to know. I mean, obviously, at the end of season 3, people are kind of separating, and this kind of picks up and shows that 11 and Will are kind of in California somewhere at school, seemingly. Joyce has moved to try and get away from Hawkins. I don't know what I'm curious to see what the angle in terms of, like, if there is by this trailer, there was no like monster element. I'm sure there'll be one. It's kind of there kind of has to be, but I'm wondering if they may be moving away from that for this one, because they've had like their own little like takes. Every series has been like kind of a take on a different like type of movie franchise, right, or type of movie genre within the horror genre. So I'm just curious what this one entails. And then we have the whole Hopper element. They released that teaser a year or more ago. That teased Hopper is in Russia somewhere at a camp.
Well, the posters for this season that I've seen, I don't know if these are, I don't know if these are just like, hey, come watch or whatever, or if they actually have any kind of teasers, but they have the big monsters in some of the posters and such. So we shall say.
What I really
think
want,
they can have the show without the upside down.
Yeah, for sure. It was just interesting that they didn't, and I know they had that little like
I appreciate it
a few weeks ago about with them like going to this like Amityville type house, and
right,
there being some sort of mystery that is connected.
I appreciate they're not leaning on the monsters. They're leaning on the drama and the human condition to bring people in. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. Now, what I want more than anything is for them to do the Target special edition Blu-rays of season 3, and I'm losing hope
Because you started
by the
getting
day. Oh, I just, I
you
like having
started.
it on physical media, and I'm sure Tony can relate. I just, it sucks because they obviously didn't sell well, and because I got them on clearance, and
You got him for like $5, didn't you?
yeah,
So Brady says he'd be fine without the upside down. I am right there with you. I think the parts where they're just interacting human conditions on display, I totally agree that I'd be fine with it too if they did it. So Donnie G agrees with you. She needs season 3.
There, and it doesn't have to be Target. I just want somebody to put it out. I think that it's unfortunate that a lot of people didn't kind of gravitate to it. And I think the Netflix of it all is the reason why. It's like, because a lot of people are just like, oh, it's on Netflix. I don't need to have it physically. It's always going to be there. But
Tony's right there with you.
I loved the packaging for both those seasons.
The VHS, really like a rental package.
Yeah. And it's just better. You get a better transfer because you don't have to worry about compression, or not as much compression, at least.
Brandon is a true fan. He also has the vinyl that he's had to. You have the worst luck of ordering vinyl, by the way.
I just send one of them back, but I do have. Yeah, I've got both the soundtracks for all the seasons that are out, and then one of the scores.
Yeah. So Brady likes those VHS packages as well. I thought they were nice. At the time those were out, I was going through a minimalist phase. I still like minimalism. Like, I don't like to have a lot of stuff everywhere. This background doesn't really promote that idea, but like, I don't like a lot of stuff on my walls and such. So I'm very if you came in my house, you wouldn't feel like it was like you wouldn't see warm pictures of people everywhere.
Your house is
dead walls.
Very indicative that you're a single man.
Yeah, it is indicative.
Lots of bare walls.
Yeah, I don't like stuff on the walls. Oh wow. Brady says still have 100 plus VHS, so it fits. Haha. Nice. Well, people might get them mixed up. Oh, we're just bringing people together here on CiNEMACHiNE.
I love it.
I love it. That's what it's all about. So, The Righteous Gemstone season 2. I did not see the first season. Just really didn't have any interest. I think you watched it, right?
I've seen it twice. I love it. God, okay. I love it. So good. This is one of those instances where I grew up Southern Baptist, still go to a Southern Baptist church, still, practice that faith. But I'm the kind of person that can take that ribbing. Yeah. This show is amazing. I love this show. And I cannot wait for this season 2.
I get a little tired of Danny McBride, and that's what pushed me off from wanting to see this. I know a lot of people like his one note, but I just get tired of it very quickly. So I just had no interest. That was the thing that kept me away from it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
it's something that I was kind of like curious if it was gonna be my jam, even though there's a lot of people involved that I really enjoy. But man, it's like I said, I've watched it twice. It's great. It's very like, it's as a I'm sure that normal audiences that didn't grow up under some sort of religious belief, they probably can still find it funny, but I found it very like specifically funny in terms of a lot of the referencing, and like there's a lot of things that I'm like, man, this is I know these people essentially. So
here's a question for your folk. Is anyone excited for tomorrow, Disney Investor Day? We could get some Marvel news trailer. I hope we get Moon Knight teaser or something. I don't know what Moon Knight is.
Moon Knight's Oscar Isaac Marvel project.
Oh, they got him.
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm excited for it. I'm going to follow it and see. I don't really know what to expect, but I know that we're getting an Obi-Wan trailer, supposedly, that they had the little behind the scenes thing that leaked today. But yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see what they put out. It's interesting that they've already put out the Boba Fett trailer before the this event. So maybe they have a lot more, and they were just kind of trickling things out before tomorrow. But we'll see. Yeah.
I don't know any more than what Brandon just said, so I'm excited that you're excited.
Thank you.
Kenobi trailer is needed by 90G.
Mhm.
There, yeah. Brandon
Yeah,
sent
I'm
something
excited.
over
I'm
today.
really excited to see how they approach that, especially considering that Hayden Christensen's back and how they approach him.
Hopefully, they got him an acting coach.
He was
Don't
better
be
in the third movie.
Uh,
Definitely showed his inexperience in the second one for sure. But I thought he made some progress between the two. Not a great actor, but still made some progress.
well, I saw him in a movie with a countdown or something. I can't remember what it was. Was he in Time Code or something like that?
Jumper.
Jumper, yeah. And man, he just was not good in that either.
Hmm.
You're going to be excited. It's awesome. I read Moon Knight comics. It's good. Moon Knight is like Batman, Joker, Punisher.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
I don't know a lot
and
about Moon
Darkest
Knight,
Marvel
but
character.
I love Oscar Isaac, so I'm down for anything he's in.
I have my Kenobi teaser poster coming.
Look at you.
Tony, that is awesome.
Actually, hold on.
Well, look at you.
Almost made it a whole night without a drop. It was a good night. All right. So the other trailer that came out this week was It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, season 15. They're going to Ireland. This I don't even need to watch a trailer, to be honest. I didn't watch it. I'm like I said, I don't need to. I know I'm gonna watch it. Did you watch the trailer?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I think we talked about how excited we are for this show. This is one of those shows that as long as they want to do it, they could probably do it for a long time. It'd probably even be funny if they were older, I mean, they're older
Yeah.
than us. So.
Well, I know on the last Disney Investor Day, they announced 2 more seasons of this. I don't know if this is included. I assume it might be. But yeah, I mean, I hope as long as they have the enthusiasm for it, I hope they keep doing it because it doesn't really miss. It's pretty great.
No, it's like a live version of South Park. It's a very good social commentary, and they do it in a way where, oddly enough, they get away with everything.
I think I think they get away with it because they're pretty opposite, at least publicly, and so and maybe that's their justification for it, and maybe that's why they try
They
so hard on
are
social media to put on
yeah,
that
they are the
image.
people that would cancel themselves.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited. I mean, it looks like sunny, and I'm all for it. It's funny to watch. It's funny to see how much their production value has been upped because I'm rewatching it again right now in the earlier seasons, and just when it comes to like lighting and cinematography, it's just night and day difference.
Well, I mean,
here.
I mean, they had a show. Their original pilot was on a VHS camera from like a home video camera. Well,
and
that's awesome.
It is.
And they had a different D and all sorts of stuff. So
yeah. Well, that one didn't. That's funny to go back and watch.
What I'm saying is that's their original pilot, like how they got the show. Yeah.
Right.
All right, Brandon, what you been watching this week? You said Dune Part 1.2.
Yeah, we finished that last night, and that was my third time watching it. So still great. I enjoy it every time I watch it. I enjoy it more. So it's I'm just ready for it to be out on like Blu-ray so that because I want like I am I want that I want as good of quality as I can. And even though HBO Max is okay, it's not terrible, but I want the best. So I'm excited to see what all kind of offerings that it has when it comes out on physical media.
In December, right? Is that when it's coming out?
Yeah, I think so.
Another one that
Blues can correct us on that. I'm sure he has some.
How many
pre-orders
versions of Dune are you getting there, Tony?
Yeah. So yeah, we watched that. And last Friday we sat down with Luna and watched Finch on Apple TV Plus. I really enjoyed it, man. I thought it was a really good movie. It's
Tony said all of them.
Yeah, all of them. That checks out.
I want them all. Yes. So you liked it? You liked Finch?
Yeah, I did. Miguel Sapochnik directed. He's a Game of Thrones vet. So when I found out that he was behind it, I was like, okay, this is interesting because I don't know if he's done a feature before. I mean, the story itself is you can see where it's going. It's not going to knock your socks off in terms of narrative, but performance wise, I thought Hanks was as good as ever. He's always solid, but he was really good in this. And I was at the beginning, I was a little indifferent about the approach they were taking with the robot in terms of the voice. But it's interesting. It's a learning robot, so there's growth in that robot, and so even the way he talks matures throughout the film, and he becomes super endearing towards the end of the film, less robotic, more humanoid. And then obviously the dog element is that's up my alley. I'm a dog person, so I would definitely recommend people check it out. I thought it was good. So yeah, it's on Apple TV Plus, and yeah, it's exclusive to them, so that's really the only way you can watch it. But yeah, that was what I watched, and still watching Succession, but that's weekly. So
I watched Last Night in Soho, as I said earlier. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm going to wait for the guys to watch it so we can do a full review. This movie was pretty good in parts. The two lead actresses had really good performances. But this is, in my opinion, this is his worst movie by a long shot. It's not that it's a bad movie. It's just, I don't know. It's a forgettable movie. It's nothing that's gonna I can sit here.
It's not a very Edgar Wright movie.
It's not Edgar Wright at all. It's not Edgar Wright at all. I mean, it is because he made it, but there's little to no comedy in this movie, and you figure out the story pretty early on. I'm not going to go any further than that. Like I said, some really good performances. I think this is worth seeing at home, maybe not in a theater, is the way I'm going to go about it. So, and then I was going to make a video last week for Criterion Corner because the sale is on right now, and I purchased High Sierra, and some of the movies I wanted were not in stock, so I only bought two up front, this and another, but I had to order some because the Barnes & Noble nearest me is kind of thin, and they're totally sold out of Arrow movies, which was surprising. So I didn't have time to venture out an hour away to another Barnes & Noble, which I will. But I did go ahead. I will say this. I did go ahead and pre-order my Citizen Kane 4K. So pretty excited about that. But
Well, look at you.
Thank you. I will say that I'm very excited to do that. Yeah. High Sierra. So 90G.
High Sierra. It sounds like you're addressing someone.
Hi, Sierra. Yes, she says. This this movie, I'll do a full review of this and the other that I purchased, and it'll be up this weekend for sure on Criterion Corner. So apologize for the delay if anyone was wanting to see that. And then I also this kind of takes us right into have we purchased any physical media? I purchased It's a Wonderful Life. I buy Christmas movies every year, so they were having a special at old Best Buy there. Some of their pre-Black Friday deals going on. So I finally pulled the trigger on this. They never had like a real edition that I wanted. So I bought it, watched it, loved it, and I'm going to go ahead and go into my physical media because it goes right with this. I am a Christmas nerd, so I bought Michael Bublé's Christmas album, which is Red. I also got to make room for all that. Here, I'll just put this over here. There we go. I got Nat King Cole's Christmas album, and it's green. Yeah, that's my favorite Christmas album, by the way, Nat King Cole.
That's my favorite Christmas color.
I like it. I got the Vince Guaraldi Trio Charlie Brown Christmas with the metallic gold swirl variant. And then I got Mariah Carey Merry Christmas. And it is like a confetti, like a Christmas confetti spatter type thing. So I am in the Christmas mood, so you'll probably see me a lot happier on these shows. It's almost like a gas leak is happening during Christmas for me. And yes, I don't care what anybody says if I'm too early. I will have my tree as soon as they start selling them. So
You be you.
I am always going to be me.
Don't let our YouTube poll tell you any different.
I don't care what anybody says about it. That's what I look forward to every year. I want the season to be longer. Halloween can go away. Thanksgiving can go away. Let's just make it all Yuletide. And I will be getting more Christmas albums. I'm going to order some. Now, these I did not order from Comeback, but I will be ordering some from Comeback because they just released a couple that I was interested in. So very excited. It is very hard to want to buy Christmas albums and Christmas movies. And yes, Nani G, I am the Christmas nerd. Very much so. I want to be Santa Claus when I grow up. Santa Claus was a redhead if you go back and watch the movies. So I will continue to buy, but there are a couple Christmas movies on Criterion. But I don't know if those are the ones I'll be buying. You gotta tune into Criterion Corner to find out. Have you purchased any physical media Brandon?
Yeah, one thing. I bought Nobody.
Oh, finally. Yeah.
On 4K. 10 buckaroos. Pretty good deal.
Yeah, not bad. That was on the Best Buy sale as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there've been some like things that have dropped in price recently that I've been like, I've had them in my car, just been kind of like, should I buy this? Should I just wait until Black Friday? Because everything's going to be just buy everything in one lump sum because I just feel like, but I don't know. That's probably what I'll end up doing. Making my list.
I'll say this. Barnes & Noble has the most aggressive abandoned cart email drip campaign known to man. They were like, hey, you left this behind, right? Like a little nice email, like 2 seconds after you leave. Like you shut down the website or whatever. And then like every day they send you like 3 or 4 emails like, hey, what you doing?
What I always bank on is the ones that send you, like you leave it in your cart, and then if you leave it in there long enough, they'll send you a discount. I'm waiting on that. Waiting on that to happen.
Nobody is. So it sounds like he's saying nobody's
great. Everybody's terrible.
Yeah. sounds like he's talking like me now. It was a great deal at Best Buy. I picked it up also. I'm surprised. Now I don't know if that's your first or 10th copy. So I think they had a steelbook at some point. I'm not sure. I just know that movie was like way too expensive for the longest time. It was like $25 for the longest time. It was like, kind of same thing that we did for Upgrade. We kept waiting for that to drop, and it just wouldn't. And then finally it did, and we were like vultures with our Blu-ray.com notifications and everything. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to see what we'll have to do a Black Friday haul video, because I'm sure Ryan will have a bunch of stuff that he buys too. So
Might even do if you guys are interested, let us know in the comments. Maybe we do what we're going to grab, maybe some expected stuff for Black Friday and stuff to give people heads up of what's where, So
yeah,
ahead of the gun there. All right. So I know we've got some movies coming out this week. What do we have coming out?
So all this
Bunch
stuff
of
is really
crap.
most everything is on streaming.
So Red Notice was at the theater the other day. They put it in theaters for like a week or something like that.
They're doing that for some things. That movie has enough star power that I could see why they would want to put that in a theater. But yeah, Clifford, Home Sweet Home Alone, 2 movies that I will see for sure. I got kids, or I got a kid, and and what's funny is Melissa is the one that's been asking me when Clifford comes out weekly. When is Clifford coming out? She's excited for Clifford for some reason.
Well, she probably read it as a kid, I'm sure. I mean, Clifford's been around for a long time. But this depiction, the look of Clifford is so off-putting, in my opinion.
It is strange.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you're going to have a big red dog, it's okay to make him look a little cartoony.
This is a puppy too. Like, it's not a dog yet.
Yeah,
it looks like a big red puppy. So he was always a dog, from what I recall. There's a difference, okay. But yeah, the Home Sweet Home Alone, I'm not excited about. I don't think I'll necessarily have any, many positive things to say about it, but I will be watching it. Showing it to the nephews. Not this weekend. I'll be watching it in a couple weeks. So Red Notice, I may watch it if I have nothing to do. I do like the
I'll have it on the background if I'm cleaning up the house.
I like the personalities involved, especially Ryan Reynolds, but I'm not enthused for it, so to speak. I might watch it at some point.
Yeah. Gal Gadot is going to be the evil queen in the Snow White movie.
Yeah.
Don't see her pulling that off. Just don't see her pulling it off.
We'll see.
Yeah. Lots of makeup, I'm guessing. So
evil queen is not like gross looking though. It's she
turns gross looking. When she goes into she actually gets the apple and everything and takes it to Snow White. Mm-hmm. She gets her mirror. I wonder who will be the voice of the mirror, or how they'll do the mirror. It sounds like a terrible idea. Anyway, I don't need to see it. Doesn't matter either way. So perfectly fine with the animation version. All right. I am probably going to watch the Home Sweet Home Alone. What's Home Sweet Home Alone? Is that what it's called? I'll probably end up watching that. With the the first 2 movies, I'll probably do like a little, I don't know, marathon maybe. I don't know. I just don't see myself making it very far into Home Sweet Home Alone without there being some kind of incentive for me to, like, I don't have my niece or nephews with me to keep me invested. I am wanting, and I'm going to do this. I'm putting together a 25 days of Christmas, 30 however long, but I'm putting together a calendar that we'll do a show, and I'll do a show at least, and we'll count down the calendar, but then you'll be able to download the calendar or use the calendar to watch Christmas movies at home, since I'm a Christmas nut. And I'll try to pair some food and things of that nature with each movie. So I'm gathering that information now. Maybe even what album you may want to pair with that. Maybe even put together a Spotify playlist for everybody.
Maybe go to Home Depot. Don't have enough time.
Sure, why not? All right. Well, do you want to tell them how to find us again?
Sure. So once again, you can find everything CiNEMAChine at CiNEMAChinePod.com, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all the like, Patreon. Hit subscribe here on YouTube. Likes apparently is a good thing to do. Gets our video noticed somehow.
Share.
Algorithms, I don't know.
Yeah,
Share.
if you share our video and tell them to like it, and they'll tell two. That's a drop we need. They'll tell two people, and they'll tell. So we got a couple comments here that we need to go over before we get out of here. But well, I'm not surprised, Tony. This is great. He has nobody. The Steelbook. So this was his just pedestrian copy that he bought for $9.99. Reaction and Review says definitely do it. Talking about the pre-Black Friday, kind of keep them up to date. If we don't do a show, maybe we can keep you up to date on social media. We'll see how that is best suited for everybody, but we'll definitely attempt. And you guys keep us up to date as well. So hit us up in the comments however you can. So we need the help as well.
Yeah.
Well, Brandon, we did it.
Yeah, it was fun. Well, I mean, you know what? Can we let Ryan take us out since he wasn't here? Can we do that?
I think so. Tonight? Thanks everybody for tuning in.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.